Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Comm Box. Sri Lanka was put into bat by Hardik Pandya. Remember, they are playing to stay alive in this series. India having taken a 1-0 lead in this three-game series. Well, in Pune, things have gone well for Sri Lanka. They started well. Looked even better if they hadn't lost a wicket in that 10th over, but they are 89 for 2 at the end of 10, and they'll take that. There's Nissanka, who's still at the crease, 29 not out of 29, but it was Mendis who was defying kind of conditions that Nissanka's playing in with a quick fire 50. And then, of course, Umran Malik, who's got that one wicket with sheer pace and check.
From the way things are happening, you can see that Sri Lanka, for sure, are right now in the upper hand. You do get the feeling there's a high-scoring venue. Pune, with the venue, the kind of wicket it's playing out to be. It is an interesting toss. The fact that India is bowling first says that they're expecting some dew to come in and they back themselves to chase this. But for the moment, it does look like Sri Lanka are very much in the driver's seat. They've put themselves in a good spot. And, as we're going to take a look at the bowling card, we will see that the bowlers from India have been put under pressure, especially the fast bowlers. You can see all of them going upwards of, 10, barring Hardik and Umran Malik. Umran getting that critical wicket of Bhanuka Rajapaksa. And I say critical because he's a left-hander who's a very good player against spin. But definitely the spinners today have done very, very well. And interestingly, the only bowler who hasn't conceded a boundary today has been Yuzvendra Chahal. He can't boast of that. Too often in the recent past, he's come under a little bit, the scanner, as they would say, a little bit of heat. But definitely he's been a top bowler for today, has done really well with the couple of overs that he's bowled, getting the breakthrough of Mendis, even the umpire not picking it, but they're going for the DRS and then them coming out right. And that critical wicket of Kusal Mendis, who got a brilliant 50 of 31. Generally, we say when somebody bats well, they're aided by some good shots. But I must admit, for today, it's been an innings which was aided by some no balls that was bowled by the Indian bowler. And for the moment, you do feel that India is slightly behind in this game.
Okay, DK, I had a network issue, so I literally have no idea what you said. But I think I know because you and I have this telepathic connection. So even if I can't hear you, I can hear you. But I will ask you at the cost of repetition, and I don't know if you answered this already, where do you see Sri Lanka going after this? Do you see them breaching 200, getting to 180 odd?
That is telepathy. That is telepathy, GK. That's the one thing I didn't speak about. Where are they going? And that is right. We got it right. If they don't get 200 on this wicket, GK, then that would be, wrong in a way. And I say that because the wicket looks flat. Pune as a ground generally is a 6-hitting ground. At the back end, you tend to get a lot of runs. They obviously are very dependent on Shanaka at that stage to come good today. But if they should try and get close to 200, that would put India under a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And I know you did speak about this because I'm being told, but a little loose with the bowling. You can't be giving freebies at this level, right? I mean, there's going to be a bit of talking to some of the perpetrators.
Yes, I think Arshdeep is one of those bowlers who's had a bit of a no-ball issue. He has bowled a few no-balls in the past. He worked on it in the World Cup, had a good World Cup, but it is definitely not acceptable. I could hear Sunny Bhai on commentary not very happy and saying it is very unprofessional, the word being used. And you have to say that I think Paras Mambre, the bowling coach, will have a quiet word with Arshdeep and figure out generally it could be rhythm. That's what we are talking about. And I guess, and I feel you have something to say as we have just spoken here, GK. Something has happened in the game.
It's the Comm Box curse that strikes again. This time for Sri Lanka, which is good. There's a wicket that has fallen. DK and GK have taken yet another wicket right here on Cricbuzz Comm Box. What's our career total now? I think we've reached 100 easily. We've reached 100. Yes, Paras Mamri will have a quiet word because that's the only kind of word he has. Really quiet word. He's soft-spoken. But you know that it's going to be stronger. What do you make of this?
You have to say that at this point of time, this wicket is again, if India keeps picking wickets, and the beauty is they might sometimes struggle to even get to 160, 170. I'm happy in a way because my predictions when it comes to Comm Box or the scores have never been close. I hope they try and help me and get there around 174, which will make me look like an philosopher for the day, I guess.
You know what you did? You hedged your bets, right? So you also at one point had said 100 in the back 10, but you then also said 174. So you're covered, right? If it gets to 190, you're right. If it gets to 170, you're right. In essence, DK is always right. That's the moral of the story. We, of course, have Tripathi, who's taken that catch and has ended Nissanka's misery in a way, right? I mean, he's played 35 balls and got only 33. I have a feeling there'll be some quiet words spoken to him as well.
It happens in a T20 game. Sometimes you try too hard. It doesn't happen. We got to understand that even Kusal Mendis was not of 4 balls, and that can happen. But the good thing was he got a couple of no balls, and he got going, and that's the momentum you need, and that's exactly what Nissanka couldn't do. Didn't get any momentum in his innings, just kept playing run a ball, couldn't get those boundaries, and I do get the feeling that is you obviously not at 100 strike rate, but that seems to be the role for him. Where he bats for a longer period of time, he slowly takes off. He's not somebody who goes ballistic from ball one, and that is helped Sri Lanka in a way because they have a lot of people who can play a lot of shots around him. But for today, his plan hasn't worked. Clearly, couldn't get the ball out of the square, as they would say. Most importantly, the strike rate also well below 100 is not something that is acceptable in T20 cricket for the day.
Yeah, especially if you play 35 balls. Well, they won't mind the fact that the opening partnership was 80, so he was playing a secondary role to Kushal Mendis. They got 8.2 overs, but post that, Nissanka probably should have got going, but he has got going now, and we've got to get going as well. And we're going to come back at the end of the 20th over after one of DK's 5 predictions comes true. Thank you so much for watching Cricbuzz Comm Box.